What up, everybody? It's Jason. And thought I'd show off some cards I've got through the Bay in the last couple days / week. I just think it's more conducive for me just to kind of do a live stream. People pop on, we can talk. If they don't, this will be out there just so if people have any interest in seeing kind of what I'm still picking up. I'm still collecting cards, still collecting wrestling, and having fun doing it. I just don't. I've talked to a few people over the last couple of days. That's kind of funny, and just talked about how as far as the channel's concerned and my interest level and trying to make content is just not there anymore. But I still like to do this once in a while, just for I don't know, just for posterity's sake, or go back and look at things that I've done or had come across, or my thoughts or feelings about certain things as the time ticks by. So this is there more for me than anything else, like a time capsule, so to speak. So with that being said, I picked all this up. I got this whole stack of cards. Probably this whole stack is probably like I maybe spent $5 to $8 on it total, including shipping. First up is a couple magazine cards. This is a Darby Allen magazine card. I never heard of Darby Allen until AEW. I'm not going to sit there and try to front and be like, oh, yeah, man, he was a great independent wrestler. I was following his career. Not at all, but I am a huge Darby Allen fan. He's been having one banger after another matches. He's been kind of teamed up with Sting over the last year and a half or so, which has been definitely great for both of them. They both have a couple tag team matches under their belts. Sting will have he usually hangs out, as like a manager-ish type person, I guess you could say, for Darby Allen. Darby Allen's just dude. They did a banger match, him and Sammy Guevara this last week. Excellent match. So just Darby Allen just throws himself out there. He's kind of like a Jeff Hardy. If you all know who Jeff Hardy is, which I'm sure you do if you're watching this, he pretty much threw caution into the wind. Darby Allen's just like that. Next up is Orange Cassidy, right here. At first, I was not big on Orange Cassidy. I just was kind of like, man, whatever. Like that was just not his gimmick was not my thing. But he's kind of grown on me over the last couple of years. I find him amusing. I'm not a huge fan of the gimmick. But I don't know what he would do. Like it's so defined. And then it's actually so well done, shockingly, that if he would ever change it up, I feel like it would kind of mess things up. So I don't know. But, Orange Cassidy. Then we got Hikaru Shooter magazine card. And I had all these cards. I already opened up 2 boxes from my buddy, Dr. Exclusive Joe. But I've been picking up these extra cards because I could get them on the Bay for $1 for a lot, including a handful for shipping, $1 for shipping. So I was like, you know what? I'll pick them up. So there we go. Hikaru Shooter, longest reigning AEW World Women's Champion, but she's been off TV for a while. She, I think, went back to Japan. So Serena Deeb injured her to have her send her back to Japan. She did kind of did a shoot on a review on a podcast or something, or some sort of like maybe online magazine, where she felt like the Japanese girls wrestlers have been kind of pushed out of AEW when they used them a lot at the beginning, which I agree with because AEW's women's wrestling was awful at the start. It has improved tremendously over the last year. And there's not really a place for the women anymore, the Japanese women, that is. And so I understand why Hikaru Shida feels that way. Now, Shida's, out of all the women who came from Japan, is actually really good. And she definitely could keep her spot, I believe, on the roster. But all the other ones, like Emi Sakura and Maki Ito and who else is there? Yamazaki, I think. All of them, I feel like they kind of like, unfortunately, time has passed. They're just, the stuff they're into, it just doesn't, the Japanese women's wrestling just doesn't translate, I think, to the American audiences, generally speaking. And it's coming from somebody who loves Japan, lived in Japan, likes Japanese wrestling in some capacity, but the kind of real shticky, gimmicky Japanese women's wrestling this doesn't work over here. They have 2 Japanese wrestlers in the ring. I think it works better. But when you have a Japanese wrestler wrestling a non-Japanese, it's just so hokey. It just takes you out of the match. Now, who's not hokey is Rey Fenix. dude. I've been following him since Lucha Underground days, if I'm not mistaken. Him and Penta, fantastic. Talking about just willing to risk it all, risk it for the biscuit. Ray Phoenix, he gets injured more than anybody in wrestling because he does crazy freaking things, man. He just throws himself out there. But Ray Phoenix, I mean, I think he's injured again right recently. So Ray Phoenix, just out of control, completely fantastic wrestler. Him and his brother Penta, I don't know if they're brothers in real life, but as the gimmick goes, are the Lucha Brothers, Lucha Bros, and AEW, and they are fantastic. Excuse me. Next up, we have Colt Cabana. Again, he's another wrestler I never heard of until AEW. He was big on the independents from Chicago, Illinois. I feel like he's kind of fallen away. Like, I feel like he's not even even though he's now part of Dark Order and has been for, I guess, the better part of 2 years. I kind of feel like he had a pretty big push with Brody Lee when he was the exalted one, Brody Lee, the leader of the Dark Order. But when he passed away in real life, this storyline kind of like dissolved a bit. He just kind of became part of the Dark Order as just because that's where the storyline was taking him. And I just feel like he hasn't been utilized that much. Honestly, I'm not for sure. I feel like there's a couple of guys in the Dark Order. Well, I don't know if when their contracts come up and they're going to be around. I don't know if they're going to keep the Dark Order the way it is. I feel like the Dark Order's kind of run its course. I feel like 10, the guy who plays 10, his real name is Preston Vance, I believe. I feel like he's the only one in the group that actually, I guess to a lesser degree, John Silver, that might have some staying power. And Stu Grayson, I like Stu Grayson, Eva Uno. So I guess the only people I'm thinking of is Colt Cabana, the long-haired guy with, can't even think of his name, unfortunately. That is as a tag team partners with John Silver and Five Angels, Allen Five Angels. I feel like those guys, if they disappeared, it would be big a deal. Next up is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they went by Red Dragon in AEW or WWE, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know much about it, but they're now on now they're on AEW. So I got a whole lot of these guys' cards, like a bunch of their rookie cards. Kyle O'Reilly on the Future Stars card from NXT. So this is pretty cool here. I like Kyle O'Reilly. He just showed back up on TV after being gone for a couple of weeks. He had a child. Next up is, I got 3 of the same here. Another Kyle O'Reilly rookie card from NXT. It's Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, and Bobby Fish. So they all formed their group again, but then also Adam Cole was with the Young Bucks and the Elite. And so we'll see how this is going to be a storyline that's, once Kenny Omega comes back, I feel like the storyline's going to really take off, because right now you have Adam Cole, who's in the middle of the 2 groups. Kenny Omega doesn't really like Adam Cole, apparently, in the storyline, and so we'll see how things shake out. So anyways, there you go. Some more Kyle O'Reilly. Here's a Kyle O'Reilly Finest card from Topps Finest. So, boom. So there you go. There's that one. I got 2 of those. Then we got a Bobby Fish. I think Bobby Fish, this has like a great look. Here's his Finest card. I like his name, Bobby Fish. I think it's a cool name. I don't know if that's his real name or not, but I really like that. I like him. I think he looks even tougher now. He has quite a few tattoos. He wears this cool mouthpiece. It's like shaped like jaws of a shark or something he wears. He has a build that's kind of like a really compact, he kind of has like a Bryan Danielson build, or Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Daniel, but not Daniel Bryanson. Bryan Danielson, there we go. They all get mixed up. I like that style. Then we got a copper, I think, Bobby Fish here on the rookie card, Future Stars card, NXT. I wonder who is he? I think that's Aleister Black in the background. If I'm not mistaken, that's who he's wrestling. It looks like Aleister Black. So, or Malachi Black, as he goes by now. And then here's the regular card, the non-copper, right here. And then we have another copper or gold. I think it's copper because there's no number. Gold of the NXT card of Bobby Fish. So I got this whole stack of cards. I got another 5 or 6 more that I got of all these guys for $3 and like $2 shipping. So $5 on a bunch of rookie cards of Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and then Adam Cole. So here's the basic, the standard, the original, the OG NXT first card of Bobby Fish. There you go. And we got, like I said, a couple of Adam Cole cards. He's been getting body shamed recently by the crowd, also by MJF. Talking about he has a dad bod. And so I'm interested to see if that actually going to translate to get him back in better shape or not. But you can tell like he's kind of let himself go a bit, kind of like Chris Jericho did, like Joey Janela did. I think they all got kind of comfortable. And then now with all this new talent coming in, I think they realize like these guys coming in here with like these great bodies that they need to like step up their game and get like a little bit better in shape. So like he's getting like kind of ran in the ground about his dad bod. Like even signs that are showing up last week on Dynamite and also on Rampage, where it said Adam Cole has a dad bod. So you know it's getting serious when the fans that are like cheering you on also like burning you out there on live television. So we will see how that translates. But yeah, I mean, when you see him standing next to Kyle O'Reilly, especially Bobby Fish and the Young Bucks for that matter, it's starting to look a little bit. He's starting to look like he had too many cheeseburgers and French fries, and that says a lot coming from a guy who eats too many cheeseburgers and French fries. So there you go. Undisputed Era, but I'm also not wrestling and getting paid millions of dollars to wrestle or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Undisputed Era here, like we were talking about, this is like they reference this quite a bit. They can't really say it on AEW, I guess, but they reference their Undisputed Era like NXT run. So there you go. And then talking about MJF, picked up a couple MJF cards. This is an MJF a lot I picked up. So this is the magazine card of MJF. Dude, this dude's just been like fire. I know I bring it up on a regular basis, but this guy here, MJF, try to get it like it's not so blurry. I don't know. Dude, one of the few guys in wrestling still today that can get real heat. Real heat. That's impossible almost nowadays. But he's able to get real heat with the things he says. Here is his base card with the Upper Deck product. I'm pretty sure he had a couple independent releases. I think this might be his first like pack pulled release. So I don't know if you consider this a rookie card or not of MJF. But I do believe he had like an all-out card in the all-out set that was produced in 2018-19. I can't remember exactly, and I think he might have done some independent stuff. So I'm not going to get caught up in the rookie card conversation, but you can take it for what it's worth. And then lastly, his main features card here. There's a couple variations of this card. If I've seen them out there, there's a gold, there's a silver, and both of those are not numbered. They're just gold and silver. Like the colors in the background, if you see up here, will be gold and silver. The white areas will be silver and gold. There is a black that's, I believe, 1 of 1. There's a red that's out of 50. There's a green that's out of 100, or there's 100 out of 100. There's one that's green's out of 100 and red's out of 50, or something like that. And I think that might be it. So there's like 5 or 6 variations of the same card, which again is fine. It's not like Topps where they have every card has like not even like exaggeration, like 10 variations, if not more. So I'll take a one card that has like 5 variations once in a while. So anyways, there you have it. So that is the cards I picked up. I have a whole bunch more coming. Hey, good morning, John. How you doing, brother? So that's what I have. I have a bunch more coming. I've been picking up a lot of stuff. My house is a complete wreck. You really can't see right here, but if I turn my phone around the house, it's like a complete nightmare. I got crap everywhere just because I'm having my house remodeled, the kitchen and the bedroom and all that. So it's been kind of crazy. And so I have everything kind of piled in my living room. I don't have a big house. If you've come on my channel before, obviously I have like a glorified apartment. It's like it's a small house in the town I live in. But anyways, so everything's kind of like if you like I said, it's like it could fall on me and be like, you see it all just crash on me. So once I get everything straightened up, I'm hoping by next end of this week, I hope I can get things kind of like put back in their places. And then I will be able to like, maybe shoot some in my room and maybe have some different like, backgrounds or move some stuff around a bit. I don't know. But right now I just feel like so overwhelmed. My son has gotten into wrestling cards recently and we were enjoying watching it too. Yeah, dude. Yeah, John, I got to say, man, it is awesome, man. I love wrestling. My son watches it with me. Well, I don't know how old your boy, but my son, when he was younger, like elementary school, like, first and second grade, up through about fifth grade, he loved wrestling. He really loved wrestling. Like his favorite wrestler was Rey Mysterio. And, we watch wrestling. If you look behind me here, up here, it's nothing but wrestling DVDs all the way across. And then there's DVDs behind these DVDs. But I picked up tons of wrestling and my son and I watch it. Now he's in seventh grade, so he's 13, going on 14. Wrestling, shockingly, isn't holding the same passion that it used to, which usually when you're a teenager, wrestling seems to be even more, you like wrestling even more, quite frankly, until you probably get to like later high school because of the violence of it all, especially AEW. There's a lot of blood and guts and all that. But he doesn't seem to have as much interest in it. But I think that's a generational thing. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 43. So, wrestling was so cool. Even though we had video games, it wasn't that much of a distraction. But nowadays with iPads and, online gaming with your PS5s and Xbox Ones or whatever, movies and TV and wrestling is a hard sell for kids to sit there and actually watch matches that last more than 10 minutes. They're like, oh, this thing's still going? So, yeah, you're 40, and let's see here. I was into forever. I got out of it. But, yeah. Yeah, I was the same way. I used to love wrestling. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, obviously, like you did, as well. I'm a little bit older than you, of course. Excuse me. And I loved wrestling. I watched it all the time. My favorite wrestlers like Andre, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Piper, Hulk Hogan, of course, Junkyard Dog. And then as they got a little bit later, I was a big fan of like WCW wrestling. So I liked Sting, like Diamond Dallas Page, and I could keep going on and on and on. But I kind of got out of it when it got the Attitude Era because to me, it was not wrestling anymore. It ended up just being like a male drama. And I wasn't really big into the TNA stuff. I'm never really a big fan of that. Like that to me wasn't wrestling. Watching girls walking around like half naked. I mean, I understand like why they do it and I get it, Even as a teenager, I was just kind of like, okay. So I wasn't really a big fan of it. So I kind of like what you were saying, I got out of it. And then honestly, 2.5, 3 years ago now, I've said this before, but this Cliff Notes version, I was going through YouTube and I was looking up shoot videos. And I don't know if you know what shoot videos are, but shoot videos are when wrestlers in their own capacity are talking about wrestling. And they're talking about, they pull the curtain back and they talk about the reality of wrestling and they talk, when they say they shoot on somebody, they'll shoot on like, Hulk Hogan. They talk about him, being like a jerk and not being the guy you think he is, or they talk about promotion. They talk about what was it really like being a wrestler. And I like watching stuff like that because because a lot of times they blur the line because back, especially in the 80s, 90s, and before that, the whole kayfabe thing was real. Like you didn't know these people were like, people couldn't break the reality that these are just normal people pretending to be somebody else. They thought these people were like really Hulk Hogan. They were really Randy Macho Man Savage. They were really Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or whatever. And they're not their own, these people. So I was watching these shoot videos, and then I guess because YouTube, they do these algorithm things, they popped up AEW. And I never heard of AEW. I didn't know anything about AEW. But AEW had AEW Dark, which is their like developmental program on YouTube that's on every Monday night or on Tuesday night. And so they only had like a handful of episodes because I don't have cable. So I cut the cord years ago. So I don't have TNT and all that stuff. But they had just started doing Dynamite right before the pandemic started. So I really kind of missed out on those first few episodes, maybe the first couple months. So I started watching the dark matches. And I was like, hey, I know some of these guys. I know the commentators. They had Jim Ross. They had Tony Schiavone. They had Taz. And then they had like a couple of the wrestlers that were, I knew who Chris Jericho was, of course, Cody Rhodes. So there's like a Dustin Rhodes. So I was like, yeah, I know some of these guys. Let me give this a shot. And I got hooked. And ever since then, I've just been a huge fan. Now I watch Rampage, I watch Dynamite, I watch Elevation, I watch some of their like YouTube channels that some of their talent does. And so I really like it. So I really don't watch WWE at all. I watch NWA and I watch some TNA. Is that TNA or TNA? Impact, Total Nonstop Action. I watch a little bit of that. But I just pretty much watch AEW and NWA almost exclusively now. So women wrestling is a lot better now. Oh yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah, I watch a lot. Yeah, women's wrestling is a million times better than it used to be. It was almost unwatchable. Aside from like, China. China was able. Obviously, she knew what she was doing in the ring. She was imposing. Was definitely would tear you up in the ring. Like that was good. And you had a couple wrestlers like Medusa, Alundra Blaze. She was actually a good wrestler, but she had nobody to wrestle. China really had nobody to wrestle. So they really, unfortunately, when they were big during their time, it was a lot of this like TNA stuff that you just couldn't get into because you have somebody like China wrestle, and then they're wrestling somebody who was like 5'1" and, was almost all chest and no talent. It was like, so that's why she's wrestling dudes, because it was realistic for her to wrestle dudes, and it's believable that she could whoop somebody. So I did enjoy watching China wrestle, but it's unfortunate that they did what they did to her, just like, throw her to the wolves, and it's not their fault that she chose the lifestyle she chose, and unfortunately had passed away. But I mean, the way it could have been handled way better, that's for sure. But yeah, wrestling nowadays is for women is much better. I sometimes enjoy the women's matches more than I do the men's matches because I feel like they work harder to prove they deserve to be in the ring, which I used to kind of be like, oh my gosh, that's like such a, such a, BS line you have to be told because they want you to believe that. But now you watch these women's wrestlers, man, they put themselves out there. They really do some extreme stuff. And I'm like, wow, okay, you guys go. So like Thunder Rosa, like every time I see her wrestle, I'm like, this girl is legit, man. She will tear someone up. Jade Cargill, she's getting better and better every day. I mean, she's like China, 100%. I mean, seriously. I don't know, John, if you've ever seen, if you watch AEW at all, have you seen Jade Cargill? But man, she is a beast. You can totally believe that she could get into a ring with a dudes and destroy quite a few of them. She has that believable look. And I mean, the talent's getting there every week. I feel like she's getting better. But yeah, Britt Baker, she's improved tremendously over the last couple of years. When I first saw her, she had like go away heat for me, like X-Pac, as everybody likes to say, the X-Pac, like legit go away heat, like you don't want to see her, kind of like Eddie Guerrero's wife. I can't ever think of her. Vicky Guerrero. It was like for real legit go away heat. But she's got a lot better for me, and like I like her. I mean, her promos are like killer. I like Mercedes Mendez, I guess. I can't remember. Martinez. She just showed up. I like her. She's really good. I'm trying to think of some of the other girls. Chris Statlander. Although Chris Statlander is great. So there's a lot of women's wrestlers I really like to watch. I like the Bunny. I like Penelope Ford. I feel like they're not as good as some of the ones I mentioned before, but I feel like, I enjoy their wrestling, and they do some stuff you don't see a lot, quite frankly, so I enjoy that. So yeah. Yeah, I understand. I feel like WWE is a lot more directed towards kids. It's more like, flashy. It's more like, colors, the lighting. It's like, feels like a video game. So I definitely understand what you're talking about with WWE for kids, for sure. Their characters are a little more, I think, more like family friendly. I mean, let's be honest. You have, the family friendly WWE, which is most of their characters are pretty manageable to digest for a family and kids. And then you can flip over to AEW and there's like people getting the crap kicked out of them with barbed wire and go through tables and like bleeding everywhere on a regular like a regular, not a pay-per-view, but like a regular Wednesday night. You can flip over there and there's people getting like lacerated and stuff. So it's definitely a different mindset. I don't blame you. If a wrestler can cut a promo and tell a story, yes, 100%. I completely agree. If they can cut a promo, I am all aboard with that. I love it 100%. I love, MJF, dude. MJF. Obviously, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Moxley, Kingston, all these guys. They can get in the ring, cut promos, and they're so believable. You believe that these guys are like legitimately going to hurt someone or hurt each other. I was watching Matt Hardy. Dude, if you don't know, Matt Hardy does the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy on YouTube now. He does a 1 to 2 hour podcast that he does with John Alba, if I'm not mistaken, on the Matt Hardy brand YouTube channel. And he made a great point, which I guess I had heard somewhere before, but I heard it again recently. And he said this, and you can tell me if you're what you think, and I agree, because in the last decade or more, wrestlers have become less gigantic. Before, like, WWE would only get guys that were like 6'5" or bigger, and they would be believable like giants that would, like, you knew that you probably were not going to be able to whoop a guy like that. And so you didn't have to, like, it was easily for you to believe that those guys could tear you apart. Like, if they grabbed a hold of you in real life, you're going to get ripped apart. Like, because they're minimum 6'3", 4, 5, if not, 6, 8, 9, whatever, almost 7 foot. So they're just giant men. And then the industry's changed where there's guys that are 6 foot, that are 5'10", 5'11". And those guys now, and Matt Hardy's, Matt Hardy's that size. He's like, I'm assuming he's like under 6 foot easily. He's probably like 5'10", I would assume. And he said that he was told, and I agree, that now guys that are the much smaller, they have to be so brutal in their ring and so vicious in their promo skills, in their ring ability, and outside their ring ability when they do stuff outside their ring, especially if they're heels, that even though you might be a 6'3" dude, you believe this guy who's 5'10" could just whoop your butt. But you have to be believable, and you have to be able to, like, sound like you're going to really destroy somebody in the ring, and to be able to show in the ring that you're vicious, because it's a lot more of it's a harder sell when the guy's 5'10" opposed to 6'10". And I was like, that's so true, because you would think, I'm by no means, I'm 5'7", so that I'm not at all like trying to be like, yeah, that's true because I'm such a tough guy. Not at all. But it is a harder sell when you have these little skinny guys that are like, like I said, like a Ray. Well, Ray Finish is really small, but let's, like a Darby Allen. Darby Allen's probably 5'9", I bet, 5'10" at the most, and he's 100. I think he's built at 175 pounds. It's really hard to believe this guy could hurt you if you're a 6'4" dude. It's going to be hard to believe that. So you have to, when he gets in the ring and he just does that reckless abandonment and throws himself all over the place and just jumps through the air and just falls where he falls, then you're like, this guy is willing to do whatever it takes to win. And what becomes way more believable. And I like that. And it does, I agree with Matt Hardy, it makes you go, okay, this guy's like a true blue BA. Like he's tough. He could tear somebody up, because he has to be able to be believable, because he's not 6'5". He's not 6'8". So yeah, when he said that, I was like, that's true. Very, very true. So, hey, what up, John? Hey, dude, did you see I've changed my name on my channel? I'm no longer Zombie, dude. I decided to change my name, man. But I appreciate it. I'm always going to be Zombie to my buds, my pals, my all that. But yeah. So I was going to say, John C. Car's not John Mangini. Who's some of your favorite wrestlers, man? Who do you enjoy watching? I know you mentioned John Moxley, which John Moxley's fantastic. Never knew who he was when he was in WWE because I didn't really watch. I barely watched WWE, definitely not back when he was wrestling, when he went by Dean Ambrose. But who are some of the guys you enjoy watching wrestle? Back in the olden days or recently? Man, John, man, hey, John, I was going to tell you. I was, oh, John, I'm going to get all teary eyed. I was going to tell you, I might be up in the North Carolina area next month for about a week. So if you're free, I know this is like I've told you this a couple of times, and we just can't get our schedules together. But if I can get up there, my friend lives in Wilmington. I'll be staying in Wilmington, Jacksonville, North Carolina area. If there's at all an opportunity for you to come out that way, dude, let me know. I'd like to hang out with you and grab a drink or whatever, have some seafood, and just hang out, man. Talk cards. The Polish Hammer and Tony Atlas, baby. Yes, Tony Atlas, dude. That's a name. That's a blast from the past. The Polish Hammer. I can't remember what his what did he go. What was his like real name, or what was his like? I mean, I'm sure he went by some name in the ring, but I don't know if I had heard that name before. The Polish Hammer, but I do know Tony Atlas. Tony Atlas had quite a few great matches. Ivan Putski, yes, okay, yes, I know. Yeah, it sounded familiar. Yeah, Ivan Putski, yeah, dude. Him and Andre, and Tony Atlas and Andre had some great matches back in the day. I love all the AWA wrestling back in the day when they were wrestling with AWA. And oh shoot, what was the other promotion? NWA. I'm sure they wrestled some there too. But yeah, that was back. That was the good old days, man. Back when you could be like legit heels, like and get away with saying crazy stuff. Nowadays, no, you ain't doing that. I mean, MJF says like some of the most outlandish things, and somehow he's still surviving because the stuff he says, you would think that's right on the line, and I love it. I wish there would be more wrestlers who want to take those kind of chances because now it's hard to get like legit, real heat from the audience. Bruno Sammartino, dude, yes. Man, what a great wrestler, man. I remember watching him wrestle towards the end of his career on WWEF back in the day, or WWF before it became WWF. But yeah, he was a great traveling wrestler. He also wrestled a lot in like the southern territories. I think he also wrestled in AWA some and NWA, but yeah, he was mostly Vince McMahon's guy. Yeah, I think I remember you telling me that. I think his son also wrestled some, and he wasn't any good. But I think Bruno Sammartino's son did wrestle some. Weren't they from Pittsburgh? Wasn't Bruno Sammartino from Pittsburgh? I think they said I think if I remember correctly, he was billed from Pittsburgh. Whenever they would say, Helen from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Bruno Sammartino. I want to say he's from Pittsburgh. I don't know if that's really where he's from, but that's where I think they said. So, yeah. Yeah, okay, I thought so. I thought he was from Pittsburgh, but yeah, I thought Bruno Sammartino, dude, he has some great matches, man. The ones I've seen, he wrestled. Oh shoot, who did he wrestle? He wrestled like Randy Macho Man Savage was a great. I mean, Macho Man was like really young, but I think I saw him a match. He wrestled him. I think he wrestled Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which was a great match. But I mean, of course, at that point, Bruno Sammartino was probably in his 50s. And these guys were in their 20s or something like that. But he just passed away just like a couple years ago. I mean, he lived a long time. So, I mean, he was a big guy. Oh, he put the kids in the figure four. That's legit, dude. I would love him to slap on the figure four when I was a kid. Oh, that's awesome. Your aunt was his neighbor. He seemed like a legit nice guy. Like, he never played a heel. Or a bad guy. I don't know if you know much about wrestling terms. I don't want to assume anything. I don't think he ever played a heel. He always played a baby face. He always played a good guy, and like he just gave the vibe that he was just such a good guy. Like in real life, like that was who he was in and out of the ring. So always smiling. Oh, I bet he had kids crying. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, he's a big barrel chest dude. I mean, he was just like always like had that like real thick, just huge like upper body. I'm sure he did make kids cry. He slapped him in the old figure four leg lock, and then like he barely probably had to reach back, and they freak out. He just go back a little bit, and, like put that stress on the legs or on the knees, and they're like, oh. So yeah, I can only imagine. I need to get a Bruno Sammartino autograph. I know they come up quite a bit on eBay. I just need to pull the trigger and grab one. because he is. I mean, he's one of the premier wrestlers. Him and Chief J Strongbow, Andre the Giant, Ivan Putski, like we talked about, Nikolai Volkov, Iron Sheik, that generation of guys. You know, a lot of those guys. I don't know if I said Andre, but Andre. A lot of those guys were like, you know, that. And then like, you know, Gagne, Greg Gagne. I think was it Greg Gagne or was his dad? I can't remember. Whichever one they wrestled. That's probably more of his time and during his time too. But yeah, all those guys do. Good times, man. I loved that type of wrestling. So, the Masked Collector, dude. Now he is a wrestling savant, a wrestling genius. The Masked Collector, dude. If you need a promo cut, the Masked Collector is the guy that cut those promos, dude. I mean, what a great collection you have of stuff, dude. We need to hang out, man. I'm gonna go see Jeff Hardy tonight. Jeff Hardy's coming to Indianapolis for a concert that he's putting on. And if you don't know, Jeff Hardy is one half of the Hardy Boys from back in the 90s and the 2000s, the aughts. Him and his brother Matt Hardy. He's coming to town, and he will be making his appearance. Trust me, they are heavily leaning in on Jeff Hardy will be joining AEW sometime in the next couple of weeks. His 90-day non-complete clause will be up with WWE so he can wrestle. So he will be showing up, and Matt Hardy's already laid the groundwork for him to show up. So he will be there. So I'm excited to get him. I'm gonna get a couple of things autographed by him when he does this concert tonight. It's an acoustic concert, so I was a little bit disappointed because I hope it'd be, you know, with a band or whatnot. But hey, you can pay $50 and get a meet and greet with Jeff Hardy, get 3 things autographed in that $50. So I mean, an autograph by itself $20. Like most places, most you know, wrestling shows or autograph conventions. A minimum is going to be $20. So if I pay $50, I get 3 autographs. You get to hang out with Jeff Hardy for a little bit, and then get to see the show. He's there. So you get like 5 hours of entertainment, 4 hours of entertainment. The doors open at 7. It ends at midnight ish for $50. To me, it's well worth it. I mean, it's $20 of general admission if you just don't care about anything, you just watch the music. And you can pay like $150 to actually hang out with Jeff Hardy like beforehand. Like I'm a Jeff Hardy fan, but I'm not the super fan, so I'm not paying $150. So he'll like act. I have to pay him to hang out with me. Like I'm not doing that. I'd rather pay the $50 and then hang out with him if he wants to hang out during that time. Great. If he's just kind of strolling around in the green room and you can hang out, great. Sign a few autographs. We have a little chat. Awesome. I don't want him to pretend he's gonna be my best friend for 5 minutes. I don't need all that. So, did you hear WWE prematurely fired him? Yeah. Oh yeah. They said, and that's the thing is like if you go back and listen, I don't know if you follow AEW much, but WWE said on their release of him, they said because Jeff Hardy was displaying erratic behavior because he just left at the end of the match and the match hadn't quite finished yet, and apparently he's going to kind of talk about it one of these days or whatever, but they just thought it was drug related or alcohol related. But apparently he had some personal stuff going on with his family and with himself. He had some health issues. He'd been up all night driving for like 3 to 5 hours, and they had to go to the show. And so I guess he just kind of was over it. And so they actually said the term erratic behavior. So Matt Hardy in the last 2 shows has said people been going, Matt Hardy's been having such erratic behavior. So you already know they're laying the groundwork because there's a scene where Matt Hardy as the heel manager from Private Party just jumps off the ring after he knows his team's getting ready to lose, and he just like leaves and goes through the crowd, which is exactly what his brother did. Right towards the end of the match, he just leaves the middle of the match while the match is still going on and just walks through the crowd, takes pictures, and leaves. Matt Hardy did the same thing. And then last night or Friday night, during a promo that he was cutting with another couple of wrestlers, he started saying something like, "It's going to be extreme," which is what they used to call it, the Extreme Team or whatever. And then one of the other guys, the other heel manager goes, Matt Hardy's acted very erratic recently. So they're doing all the groundwork laying. They're not doing all that. The AEW doesn't do stuff like that without a payoff. WWE is notorious for saying all kinds of crazy stuff or starting storylines that never actually go anywhere. AEW will pay off. And you already know. Matt Hardy said months ago, before the whole thing with Jeff happened, that his dream is to have another run with his brother as the Hardy Boys and become tag team champs at AEW. Well, you already know what's coming. So what I believe is going to happen is that Jeff Hardy's going to show up. They're going to become a heel tag team. Then they're going to turn heel on heel. They're going to heel turn on their already heel private party team that Jeff Hardy has created from baby faces to heels, which will cause private party to become baby faces again. Follow me. And then they will end up whipping their butts. And then they're going to go on a big run as AEW tag team champs. And then they will eventually lose probably to private party months or a year or so down the line. And they'll end up becoming AEW champs over them because private party is huge fans of the Hardy Boys. They're like, their childhood heroes. So I have a feeling that that's going to be a storyline that will happen in some capacity. But I want to see an FTR, AEW, FTR, Hardy Boys wrestling match so bad. I want to see a Lucha Bros. I want to see a Young Bucks. There are lots of tag teams at AEW. I want to see wrestle the Hardy Boys. So I am thrilled when they get there. Yes, he is very artistic. If you see, you just look at his face paint he does. I'm assuming he'll be doing that at AEW. I don't know why he wouldn't. I don't know if that's trademarked. I would assume you can't trademark face paint. He might have to change it up a bit because, Dustin Rhodes, he doesn't do the Gold Dust face paint, but he does half his face painted. Kind of like a Gold Dust type of look. So I would assume that maybe Jeff Hardy can't go quite balls out with the face paint, but maybe he can. I don't. Obviously, that's above my pay grade. But I would assume he's going to do something with the face paint. But maybe not. Maybe he'll just wrestle without the face paint. That's the original Hardy Boys didn't do. I don't think Jeff did face paint, so I think that was something he did as a singles competitor. So we'll see. But I'm definitely excited. And then Matt Hardy has said multiple times on his podcast that he is trying to get into really great shape because, again, he's kind of like the Chris Jericho and Adam Cole and a few of these other guys, Joey Janela, that kind of let themselves go a bit. And again, that's not me being disrespectful because look at me, I'm a fat cracker, so don't get it twisted. But I'm not also wrestling, and I also don't have to have the wrestling physique to be more believable or whatever. But Matt Hardy has mentioned multiple times in the last couple of weeks that he has started really focused on his eating habits and really zeroing in to get in the best shape of his life. Again, another little tip of the cap to say that his brother's in great shape. So if he could get in the ring with his brother and be a believable tag team, he needs to probably, I would assume, drop X amount of pounds to really be able to, keep up with his brother and the tag team that they're getting ready to become again, the Hardy Boys, as they make a run at AEW. Being 20-ish pounds, 30 pounds overweight or whatever it is, probably not going to look as good. I have noticed when he came out last week, I think his shirt came off or something, and you can tell he's slimmed down. Jericho slimmed down recently also. Joey Janela looks totally different. He completely transformed his body. He looks great. And then Adam Cole, unfortunately, is getting roasted recently by MJF and the crowd by being called, by saying Adam Cole has a dad bod. It's pretty bad when he stands next to his girlfriend, Britt Baker, and she has a smoking hot body. And then Adam Cole looks like he had 3 double cheeseburgers before he came out of the curtain. So it looks like, what do you think? What do you think about Cody Rhodes? Honestly, I'm not a fan of Cody Rhodes. And I know I alluded to this. I know I alluded to this one of my last live streams or whatever. And so what I believe is I like Cody Rhodes until last year. He cut a promo leading up to the with the Anthony Ogogo match when it was America versus England type of thing, which you really don't see much of that anymore because people get so butthurt when you have two countries taking on, especially if it's a country that's like a Middle Eastern country or a, I don't know, like maybe an African country. People like if you're like basically if it's a white baby face against a non-white heel or whatever, or the baby face could also be non-white and it's a heel white person. I feel like American audiences now get so bent out of shape and butthurt because they make it all about race. So with all that being said, Cody Rhodes ended up making it about race, and he cut a promo talking about his half black baby and his black wife, and it was like he brought too much reality into the promo, and you could tell everybody turned on him from that point forward. He became like a heel. Like even though he never turned heel, everybody treated him like a heel. They booed him. They no one liked him. They didn't like his matches. They didn't like what he had to say, and he was still pretty relevant because he made himself relevant by putting himself out there so much. So he kept putting himself out there because he was an EVP or whatever, so he could make himself the focal point in the matches. But I mean, I just felt like he was just trying to, like, on the whole social justice stuff, he was trying to ride that wave. It just did not work. And ever since then, I just was like, dude, I come to wrestling because it's supposed to be fantastical, it's supposed to be a fantasy, it's supposed to be fun. All these larger than life characters that are just doing ridiculous stuff in the ring. I don't need you to insert your politics or your social justice agenda into my wrestling. So, but if you see wrestling with him after that, the crowd turned on him. No, he wasn't getting cheers anymore. I mean, about 2 months ago, he took off his belt, his like wrestler belt, or he used to take it and throw it out to the crowd, and people would be like, "Yeah, I grabbed his belt." There was like people in the crowd that were taking it and throwing it back and trying to hit him with it. So definitely the crowd turned on him. So yeah, I mean, great wrestler, fantastic storyteller, cuts a killer promo, but unfortunately, when he started doing that kind of stuff, it kind of just like tanked it. So I don't know what's your thoughts. What do you thought about Cody? Are you a big fan of his? He's gonna end up going back to WWE and becoming a freaking Stardust. It's like talking about like a slap in the face. I surely hope Vince does not make him do that. I think that he's a great wrestler. He will definitely make WWE if that's where he ends up, which it looks like that's where he's going to go back to. He will make WWE better, that's for sure. And he's a fantastic wrestler. But apparently, he's going. Brandy, they're not bringing Brandy back, so she's now no longer a part of any wrestling because she left with Cody AEW. So she's gone. I don't know if she'll ever show back up in wrestling because she had go away heat. Even Dan Lambert couldn't get her over. And Dan Lambert is like gold on the microphone, and he even couldn't get him going. So, yeah, Brandy Rhodes, even though she's great to look at, don't get me wrong, is probably disappeared from wrestling. Yes, I agree. And the crazy thing is that I was reading some of the most recent posts by like Kenny Omega and Tony Khan and a couple of the other guys, and really I didn't know this because I don't read all the dirt sheets or whatever that's out there. But Cody Rhodes is the one who wanted to make the promotion AEW and make it like a personal attack on WWE. The other guys like Omega and all those guys, they just want to give the wrestlers an alternative that wasn't WWE. They weren't really out there to try to like rub Vince's nose in anything. But if you watch if you watch Cody Rhodes, so many of his promos up until this recently, he's like rubbing Vince's nose into how great AEW is and how great they are, and the WWE product sucks. I mean, he just cut a promo last month where he was like saying, they make it to TV and they disappear after 1 month, and they cut them loose after something like budget cuts. Like, he just literally just said that in a promo on the side of an AEW ring. And now he's over with, more than likely, he's with WWE again. So, I mean, we all know, money talks and BS walks. So I'm sure Vince was like, hey, I'm going to give you more money than you'll ever see in your life. I mean, if he wants to go and eat a bunch of Alpo out of a dog bowl and be Stardust or whatever again, I guess that's what he's getting ready to look forward to doing. I sure hope they treat him with like the superstar that he is and can be. But I do not trust anything with WWE and anything to do with Vince McMahon. Like, he's too fun. He thinks dick and fart jokes is what he thinks is the best thing about wrestling. Vince, not Cody. So there's not high hopes for me with Cody going back to the quote unquote enemy as he made him out to be over the last 3 years. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think he'll have some banger matches over there because there's a couple wrestlers that he would never had a chance to probably wrestle in any real capacity that he can wrestle now. I'd love to see him wrestle Brock Lesnar. I'd love to see him wrestle Roman Reigns. I'd like to see him wrestle Big E. I'd like to see him wrestle who else was there over there? There's another couple of guys I'd like to see. Randy Orton again. I'd like to see him wrestle Ray Phoenix again. I feel like these are wrestling matches that I'd like to see because he's a different level star than he was when he was over there before. So, but we'll see how it all shakes out. He'll probably end up wrestling like Rick Boogs in some mid card to bottom of the card match next month. So, unfortunately, that's probably what he'll end up being. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they use Cody Rhodes. It'll be I won't be watching WWE. It won't make me watch WWE, that's for sure. But I'll definitely on when they have different promo what's the word, recap videos. I'll definitely watch those recap videos to see what he's been doing over there at WWE. And I'm assuming Brian Cage is probably heading there once soon as his contract's up because Brian Cage looks like a WWE wrestler. He's just shorter. That's the reason why he probably never got a chance to go because if he looked the way he looks and he was 6'5", 6'8", he would have been huge. But yeah, we'll see. All right, man. See you later, dude. Take care. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and head out here too, man. It's already almost gone an hour. I just want to show these cards off. So I appreciate everybody hanging out, watching. And I'll be doing another video here, I'm sure, sometime this week. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching.